Well, hey there, this is Jerry, and I'm getting started on another episode of What's Broke today. And our Scag Wildcat is back, and what we got going on is when they start out, when the motor, everything's cold, blades engage, mows fine. He gets done mowing, takes like a 5 or 10 minute break, and as long as everything's still hot, the blades don't want to re-engage. And I'd even noticed when he dropped it off that you turn the key on and pull the PTO, usually you can hear the clutch click, and I don't hear anything. So I was going to start out with my voltmeter and back probe my connector. So I can see what my voltage is, and then turn the blades on. Either got a really bad connection. I only have 7 volts. I'm going to come to the battery, and so I got 12.25 at the battery. I turn the key on. I got 11.67. So let's come back down. Go positive. The blue wire should be the hot wire. Now I've got 7 volts. So I got to track down somewhere. Well, we got something going on, because boy, that fuse holder is hot. So let me pop this off and I'll look inside. Okay, well, I took my meter, I'm switching it over to DC amps. I'm just going to clamp it around this fuse holder, because I got a feeling that all my problems, we got something here drawing too much current, because we're kind of melted and discolored here and melted there. So let's turn our key on. Oh wow, as soon as I pull the clutch, I can go up to 30 amps. So that is unacceptable. Like, wow. Yeah, let me get the wiring diagram, because I want to trace some of this down, because that definitely should have blown that fuse as soon as it was pulling enough amps to melt that. Okay, well, just for the heck of it, I'm going to ohm out the clutch, but it's real simple. If the clutch is plugged in down here, it is pulling 30 amps, and that's with the engine not running. Okay. And that is 0.2 ohms. Now, let's go and let's ohm out a known good clutch. Okay, now this clutch, I know it's good, so we'll probe it, and I'm usually expecting like 2.5 to 3 ohms. And see, I have 2.7, where out there I had 0.2, which means there's a short in that magnet. So, what I'm going to end up doing is ordering the new clutch, and then see if I can find, I know they make it, I just got to find the part number, a repair kit for that plug that goes onto the PTO switch, just because of the way things are melted. So, but I'm gonna get some parts and then we'll get them put on and then we'll get back and finish checking it out. Now, when I started the Scag up to move it, I heard some kind of noise, sounded like a bearing noise, so I thought, yeah, I'll just go ahead and pull this clutch off. So I'm cutting the zip tie where this wire was zip tied to the frame down here. There's a hole that holds it up out of the transmission belt. I got this thing up on blocks, but the clutch is right here in the open. That wire is at the front. And then I'm just gonna take the nut off our bolt loose and see how easily this clutch will slide down, because yeah, I wasn't sure it's going to clear that goofy bracket. So that feels like ½ inch back there. Yeah, so I'm gonna go get my cordless ratchet with a ½ inch socket. Okay, got my cordless ratchet, and it feels like, yeah, there's 2 bolts here on the front, and they're carriage bolts. There's one. There's the other one. Then I can get this down out of the way, because yeah, the way this was up against that bracket, I couldn't push it forward. That's got it loose. Pull the bolt out and we can drop this thing down and oh, that's just a little bit rough. I'm gonna probably shut the camera off, go ahead and start this thing up and see if that noise is still there, and if it is, I'll pull the hydro belt off and check the idler pulleys for it, just to make sure. And okay, and that noise I was hearing is still there, so looking to see, there's a spot I can get my wrench up in there, because there's a hex in the idler arm for the clutch, or for the transmission belt. I can just pull that back and pull the belt off. Oh, that's a tight fit between the that pulley and the thing, but oh yeah, I don't know if you can hear that, but I'm spinning this idler. Up. And that idler's noisy too. So yeah, I think we ought to see about getting a couple idlers, and maybe even while we're at it, a new belt. Let's pull this thing out. Look at it. Oh. Well, getting ready to put the Scag back together, and had my pulley with the noisy bearing. I got a replacement. My other pulley that I thought was noisy, if you look around the rim here, you can see where it has been rubbing on the frame. So it really, the bearing's okay. It's just you could hear this hitting the frame. So the answer for that is, when I put the bolt through, I'm just going to take a washer, put over it to space it down just a little. And I may do the same thing with the other bearing or pulley. because the you can see where the belt, the pulley, it goes like that, and the belt was running in the very bottom. So even though it already had a spacer, I'm going to add a washer to it as well. And of course we got our new clutch, which I thought I was going to have to swap this, and I do not. So it's all good to go. All I got to do is I'm going to get these pulleys put on, and let's get to work. Now, there you get this pulley up through, and the nuts on the top side. So I'm going to put that up through. Then I got a cardboard box with a jack, because all I need to do is have something sturdy enough to hold that up against the bottom of the mower long enough to start the nut. So I'll push that up with my jack and then come up top and very carefully, let's see if I can get that nut without losing it, and start the nut up on top. And I'm going to take my adjustable or my wrench and set back on top of that nut. I'm going to move the other, get the other wrench out of the way. Drop the jack down a little, slide the box over. So I can move the camera. And then got my other pulley, stick it up through the hole, and carefully move the box and the jack over. Should have brought my other 6x6, it would have held the jack better. But then I can just take this and that up there so I can come back and start the nut. I'll put the ratchet wrench back in place and try and find a spot where it'll hook and not rotate. Oh. And I can get the jack out of the way. Get the cardboard box. Now I can take my cordless ratchet, reach up in here and tighten that up, call it good. I can come to the other one. Okay, let's go up top and see if I can get my wrenches I had up here off. I got two new belts. I got one for the hydro pumps. And I'll run this one around my ratchet. And it's got to go around one idler and around both pumps. Then around our idler pulley itself. And then I can pull the tensioner and hook the belt onto the engine. And that all looks really good. Nice thing is I got this pulley off the frame, and that won't be quiet. So all right, now our next thing to do, we got to get our clutch up there, and as you can see, I put a little grease on the shaft. I can push the clutch up, and get it lined up with the keyway and push it up on there. Now I can tighten that down. And then what'll be the fun part is taking our piece that, anti-rotation device, getting it put up there, and then, which I make it sound bad, it really isn't that bad. Just requires you to be a little bit ambidextrous, because the way you gotta bend to get everything in there. And all right, get them both up in the hole. And luckily they're carriage bolts, so I can put my 1/2-inch socket on here and hold the head of them in, and okay, get those lined up like that, and then this wire's got to go up through the hole here in front of that, and there's a place up there on top where we can put a zip tie. Now I was putting the zip tie up on top. I was looking at that wire where it was near this bracket, which of course is near the belt, and that kind of bothered me, so I thought, well, I can just go get another zip tie and tie that wire to the bracket, and then come up top, zip tie it going through the hole up here, and then I don't have to worry about anything getting into the wire for the clutch. And of course I'm going to come up here and plug the clutch in. I'll come down here, shorten the tag on that, get a couple tools out of the way, and then I got the new belt that goes from the engine to the mower deck. I'm just going to push it up through there, get it up here on top. At least get it close, and then I can go up front. Might have to have the cat move. Trouble is laying there supervising. Take this belt up over the front pulley, around the idler, and kind of coming over to the one side. I can come back here and get it back up on the engine, because me moving it around up there. Well, I got it on the front blade spindle and the tensioner pulley. Now I'm just going to grab my ratchet, put it in the tensioner. It's got a 1/2 inch slot in it. And then I can just take the ratchet and stretch the spring and slide the belt over the spindle, and that looks good. That all looks good, but wires are clear so they can't get into the belts. So our next step is we gotta go up top and work on the wires at the console. Where this connector was melted some, I thought I'd better address that. It'd probably be okay if I took it apart and cleaned it, but you know, sometimes I get accused of being a hoarder because I keep stuff like, you know, have an old wiring harness that had a good one of those plugs on it that's the right configuration. So the blue one, get up in there and pull it out. And what I'm doing is, you know, when you look at this connector, you know, you got the spade and then you got the little cutout on one side. Well, I'm taking my little screwdriver, sticking down in that cutout and prying this tab and pushing it in so I can pull that connector out, and then I'm going to go back and put that connector in the corresponding location that I took it out of in the new connector. And like this other blue wire, it is good. So I'm going to pull it out. Then the tab back up. Put it back in its corresponding hole. And then I'll come to the other one on the end where they're closest together. Which I'm not really sure it did much with that, so let's come back to my harness and figure I got connectors I can cut off of here and splice in. And I think just for the heck of it, since I have double red on both ends, I'm going to use the double blacks off this harness. And I'll just come here and snip them both. I'm going to go ahead and pry these tabs back out. So they're ready to lock back into the connector. And then I'll strip some of the wire insulation off. Now I'm just going to take and twist these together for now, because at the current moment I don't know if I need a red or a blue butt connector, so I'll just get these ready, because these wires I know can handle a red butt connector. Now I'm just going to come up here and on the end where they're closest together, I'm going to come back from a little ways where the wires aren't showing melted. Clip both of them. And then strip off some insulation. And I can take these and prop this up because I don't want it to get down on the top of the battery. I can take those and you strip just a little bit more off. Didn't quite have enough there to twist together. Okay, a blue and a red, and of course I always cut some of the shrink wrap stuff off because it's so long. I can take these two wires and twist them together like so. I was going to snip the end of it just slightly to square everything off. I'm going to start out with the, well, if I can pick it up, the red butt connector. And the hole in it just isn't big enough. Well, that's okay. That's why we had the blue ones. Okay, I'll push that up on there. I can crimp. I'll just slide to the other end. Hair too long. That down in there and crimp it. And of course I want to tug and make sure it's together good. or in fact I'm near the gas tank. I need to shrink wrap that. Okay, so that one's good. I come back to my bag of goodies and get another blue butt connector out. Now I'll just do the same thing. I'll trim a little bit off each end. I can hold this in my hand and it's easy. I can put that together and crimp it. And that's good. Now this one is, since it is the top right here, now I'm going to take this and put it corresponding, and then I know then the last one is going to go on the top on the other end. So down here and get away from melted wires. Bit of that. I should be done with those. If everything goes right, that's going to slide. Up on there like so. And then we're going to crimp it. Tug, make sure it's good and tight. Shrink that down. Then this can plug in, corresponding spot there, and so there's that. And then of course, notice on our PTO switch, this is a Scag upgrade where it's actually a weatherproof switch. Yeah, so I can push that on there now, and then let me go get my amp gauge, and I'm gonna get a 25 amp, a new 25 amp fuse, because that thing was pulling 30 amps and didn't blow this 25, so that's worrisome. Alright, so brand new 25 amp fuse, and then I gotta look somewhere down there. I dropped the cap for the fuse, so it's got to be laying down there by the pump somewhere. So, and then I can take my, set this on 40 amps, DC, zero it out, and then I'm just going to come down here and clamp it around the positive battery cable. I can turn the key on. I got almost half an amp. Now I turn the clutch on, I got 5 1/4 amps, so that is acceptable. Shoehorn everything back in there. Yeah, now all we gotta do is I have to move a few things and then we can go out for a test drive. But I'm gonna pretty much say that should have us all fixed. That I'll pick up tools and then I got a truck here I need to do a little work on, and then I'll be back. Well, got done taking the Scag out for its test run and everything worked like a champ. That run good, cut good. That where they'd complained about the console and the ignition switch feeling hot didn't happen. So other than maybe a little bit of noise from the bearings on the mower deck, it is done. That starting good, electric clutch working right, the noise when it was idling from the pulley is gone. So we're gonna call it good. That appreciate you watching. We always like those thumbs up for the likes. Appreciate all those comments, and I broke the 700 subscriber barrier a couple days ago, so real happy with that. Appreciate everybody that's watching, and hey, if you're not a subscriber, join on in, because I'll tell them what else you'll see on What's Broke Today. Thank you.